So we have these two dimensions of our life, the contemplative and the active. And some of us are called in our vocation towards one or the other. Some are called to a very radical contemplative life, being a hermit, being a monk, being a nun. Some are called to more of an active in the midst of family life, in the midst of missionaries who go forth and spread the gospel. But it's important for us to remember that we're supposed to have both sides. If we are all active and don't have any kind of contemplative life, then we hollow out like a donut, an unholy donut. If we're working and we're working and we're working and we're not taking time to pray, we're not taking time to nurture our relationship, then we start running on fumes. And little by little, even though we can go on that for a long time, it's just like someone working on caffeine versus sleep. You can go and you can go, but at a certain moment, that reserve runs out and you just crash completely. So you need to keep that reserve being nurtured every single day through making sure that you have a prayer life. And not merely a prayer life that's just, I just sit down at dinner time and I just say, bless us, O Lord, but really to carve out time to spend in relationship with God. And making sure that your prayer life is not merely just words that are being said, but your heart is connected to those words at the same time. On the other side, the contemplative needs to have that active aspect, even if they are called to a life of solitude. Even someone like St. Anthony of the Desert, his active aspect was very actively praying and interceding and reaching out. And there's this powerful zeal for souls that comes from that contemplative life. St. Therese of Lisieux is considered the patroness, the co-patroness of missionaries with St. Francis Xavier. St. Francis Xavier is someone who would have been super active. He even said that sometimes he couldn't even find time to pray because all the children were saying, please tell us about Jesus, please tell us about Jesus. And what is he going to do? Like, just say, sorry, go away. But he's like, I'm stretched. So he becomes one of the patrons, St. Therese, who is this young girl who only lives, to be a young adult. And her fervor in praying for souls, in praying for people for conversion, of offering her very life as an oblation to merciful love, that becomes such a powerful way of bringing souls to Christ, just as powerful as an active missionary going out. And so there's this dynamic in the church, and there should be this dynamic within our hearts to have Martha and Mary at the same time, saying both are important, and depending on our vocation, you'll sort of lean this way or this way, but you need to have both of those. So it's good to just kind of look and say, where's my Martha? Am I merely just kind of sitting saying, I'm just going to just pray, but not really have that sense of zeal for souls or reaching out? Or because sometimes prayer can just be more about satisfying myself and making me feel good versus a prayer that is apostolic, that goes out. But on the other side, if you're someone who's really busy, someone who's really active, where's your Mary part? Because even the Lord says here, that's the primary part. That's the better part. Because it's only through that relationship first that we can act. We start with being, we start with identity, and then from there, it gives us the guide, the strength, and the ability to be effective because we're doing it in and through and with the Lord and not on our own. So let's ask the Lord for his strength, his wisdom, to allow these spiritualities, Martha and Mary, two sisters, that dimension can be in all of our hearts in different ways.